originally I'm from London, England. I was born and raised there. I did my undergraduate at Cambridge University in England and my PhD at Johns Hopkins over here in Baltimore, Maryland. Over here in this country, I mean. I've been here awake for 6 years. Well, obviously I'm an economist, but I'm a macroeconomist, so all things macro are of interest to me. But my primary field is inflation, so I've done a lot of research on inflation dynamics, particularly within the US. That means what has caused recent inflation or deflation, those type of things, what I do research on. Well, the current economy definitely affects the job market for sure. I mean, we teach this in our classes, the level of demand that's out there. You know, if we aren't buying products from firms, those firms in turn aren't going to need workers to produce them. At some level, that affects a lot of people in the economy, almost all of us. So, how the economy doing definitely does affect the job market. But I would say that applies differently to different people, though, right? So, it might apply differently to a college professor than it does to someone who works in retail. Probably will affect them both, but in different ways. The labour market's been improving a lot, so unemployment rate's been coming down. With that, the labour force participation rate has also been declining, which is not good news. So that's something that goes unseen, I guess, in the unemployment data. We think it's great that unemployment is going down, but a lot of people are just giving up looking for jobs. That's one reason why it's going down. But in general, things are a lot better than they were a few years ago. Obviously, we had the financial crisis 6 years ago now. Things have improved a lot since then. I don't think they will have any specific problems that is unique to them. They'll have. There's always problems finding a job anyway, right? It's not easy to find a job. Employers want to find the best available candidates for the position that they have. So in that sense, weight grads will have the same competition that they have anyway from year in, year out. I don't think there's anything specific about the economy right now that makes it difficult for this particular year to get a job. Now that would be different back in 2009, 2010. Those guys maybe had a bit more of a challenge finding a job, but things should have improved enough that it's not that, hopefully not huge obstacles exist for our current crop of students. I would say financial jobs are always competitive, and obviously being an economics professor, a lot of our econ majors end up in finance type jobs. There's a lot of competition there, but I think we have a good track record of placing our students into those jobs. So I think where you'll find that people who have the most difficulties are students who are going to schools that don't have like a good name like Wake Forest. We have a pretty well established name, so I think that's puts our graduates in a privileged position where they still can get those jobs. Other people from different schools might not say the same thing.
I am a double major in health and exercise science and Spanish, with a concentration in, should I? Spanish for medical professions and interpreting studies. I am very passionate about both of those fields. I love the human body and helping it to be healthy, and I also love speaking Spanish and studying it and helping others um, receive medical treatment by who can't speak English, like speaking for them and helping them.
I'm econ, math, and Spanish. I kind of, I just came in and I already sort of knew what I wanted to do, and so I just, I took a few classes in each semester, and it kind of just came together that way. Really, just passion, I think, for each subject.
I'm a double major in philosophy and Spanish. I'd always taken Spanish in high school as my language, and I knew that we needed the language requirement here. I placed into 212 first semester freshman year, so I technically was done, but I needed some extra hours the next semester, I think, and I like Spanish, and so I kind of just kept taking classes, and I thought, I'll take one Spanish class per semester to just keep my language level good. But then I realized that that would put me at like one class short of the major, and I was thinking about going abroad anyway to Spain, and so it seemed like it made sense, and I think it's really important to have experience and a knowledge in a foreign language or culture, because most kids in our generation, especially in America, really don't, and so that's a way to kind of separate yourself, and Spanish is obviously very relevant to, I guess, America today, with immigration and everything. And in terms of philosophy, I took a specialty elective course my senior year of high school that was offered by one of the history professors, but it was an intro philosophy course. And I really liked it, and when I came to college, I really had no idea what I wanted to major in. I never thought about it, but I thought that philosophy was cool because it's something that like is not typically. It's not. I mean, it is one of the regular like kind of liberal arts humanities majors, but like it seems like less common than like history or English, and I just thought it offered a lot more in the way of learning how to like think and write and understand why you believe what you believe and how you believe it, being able to form arguments. It's really a really great foundation to have if you for whatever you want to go into, the kind of reasoning and logical and thinking skills it gives you. And I just find it interesting in and of itself. So.
Do you feel that these majors are going to help you find a job in the future?
I think they will. Obviously, and a lot of people say this when I tell them, it's a fairly unique combination of majors. Normally, a lot of kids here, when they double major, they tend to do one major. I feel like that's a bit more quote job inducing, like economics or finance or something more along those lines, psychology maybe. But I don't know. My dad always told me to just major what you want to major in college, and eventually that will work itself out in that sense. I mean, I think they will lead to a job. Obviously, there's a lot of fields that either people from either major go into. It's really what you major in college, from what I've learned. It doesn't have any bearing on what you want to do with what you do with your life if you don't want it to. Like,
My major is anthropology with minors in biology and chemistry. Originally, I came to Wake Forest coming in as a pre-medical student. However, after taking a few short courses in anthropology to fill my divisional requirements, I decided to make it my major. To this day, I appreciate that decision I made.
Psychology and Spanish dual major. So initially I came to college thinking I wanted to be an education major because I'd worked with kids for a really long time. That was something that I really wanted to continue doing and that I enjoyed. And I took a psychology course originally just as part of my divisional fulfillment here at Wake. And that sort of became a subject I was more interested in after the semester, and my education classes were not as exciting to me as I initially thought that they would have been. So I switched over because of that. I've done a lot. It's been really exciting for me. I've learned a lot of different aspects, and now it's led me into more of the marketing spectrum of career choices, which I guess is the dark side of psychology, but it's still a really exciting field for me, and there are a lot of different things you can do with it. And Spanish also came about sort of indirectly too. That was just, I'd been speaking Spanish, taking classes ever since I was in grade school, all through high school, and I really genuinely enjoyed it. So I stuck with it in college just for the divisional requirement at first, and then I thought, you know what, it's kind of pointless to take these classes and not continue speaking the language. So I kept with it, and I declared a minor, and I decided to go abroad to learn more about Spanish culture and to gain more fluency and to become a better speaker in general. And I was able, through that, in the classes I took, to bump it up to a major.
My plan actually is to attend Officer Candidate School for the Navy. I am due to hear back in May. I want to be focusing mostly on the aviation and avionics. So while I'm there, I'll acquire skills that I can't really apply anywhere else. So potentially, ideally, I'd like to have a whole career in the Navy, a life career in the Navy. But if that doesn't go as planned, there's many options in terms of technical degrees, such as aviation meteorology and other things.
My immediate plans are to go home for a couple of months and visit family, and then I'm going to move to Nevada and hopefully get a job doing something in a hospital, medically related. And then eventually I'm going to go to PA school.
I'll be doing a research fellowship at Stanford Law School.
When did you get this job?
I received notice that I was offered a position in February. I'm interested in the intersection of law and economics. I'll be working in the Law and Economics Policy Center. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited to go to California. I think each change of scenery is always good.
So it's kind of up in the air, but the tentative process. I mean, I have what I'm doing for at least the next year or two, but that's not really necessarily what I want to do long term. I'm about to interview for a position as an intern with the district attorney's office for my district back home, for a fall internship. I'm going to be interviewing in a couple weeks. If I get that, I'll be doing that from about August to December or January. After that, I have a position with a real estate firm that I interned for a couple summers ago. Just kind of get some work experience, some cash, figure things out from there. But what I really want to do is music. I'm a musician, and I'd really like to pursue that dream if possible. And so I get everything that I'm kind of doing is sort of a stepping stone to give me the ability to kind of figure out what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do that. So eventually I'll end up in I think one of the big cities for music, but it's just a matter of figuring out that game plan.
I am very excited because I get to stay here for another year. I'm going to get my Master's of Arts in Management over in the business school. So another year. So I'll be learning just the general basics of business because the program is designed for people who didn't have a business undergrad background. So you're actually not allowed to apply to the program if you've had a business major or minor or in a business school of any kind. So I'll be learning anywhere from accounting to marketing, how to be a good leader, all of the things in between. It's also a great networking opportunity. They have a lot of people come in from different companies, very important speakers and CEOs and just certain things like that we'll be attending during the year. So it's just, I'm excited because it's a way to really hone myself as a professional and to become better at interviewing and better at understanding what the world is like and the marketplace is like and what it's, just to present myself in a way that's a lot more professional and a lot maybe more grown up than I am right now. So the MBA program, at least here, is for older candidates. So this one is designed specifically for people who are just fresh out of college, and they are anywhere from 22 to 23. So you can be just graduated or you can have been out of college for a year, but beyond that, they don't let anyone in for the MA because they are looking for those young people. But the MBA is for a little bit older people. They've had work experience. They are usually people who are professionals already and they're trying to just gain more. I know that varies at different universities, but I think that's kind of the most accurate way to describe it here. So, hey, I might come back in a few years, just have 3 degrees. You never know.
I definitely like that Wake was like a smaller community. Especially seemed like the professors cared about students, which is not necessarily true at a lot of other schools, especially in the undergrad. And it seemed like there's a lot of emphasis on undergraduate teaching and mentorship, and I really appreciate that.
There's a couple different reasons, but I think it mainly had to do with running. I used to run track here, and so I was recruited, and I wanted to go somewhere reasonably far away from my hometown, from Philadelphia, and I wanted warmer weather because of running, because I hated running in the snow and cold all the time in the winter. So I was interested in other schools in the area, like Duke, UNC, UVA, and Wake actually came on the recommendation of a family friend whose family themselves are all Duke alums, which is pretty funny. But they had one daughter who went here and loved it, and they said, "Oh, well, if you're down there in the Carolinas, you should checking out Duke and UNC, you should check out Wake too." So Wake was the first school I visited on my college tours with my dad. We did like the classic kind of fly down and then road trip between all the other schools during my junior year spring break. And so Wake was the first school we visited because it was the most south of all the schools too. I liked it a lot. It was really great. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to come here right away the second I got here, but like I liked it a lot. Took the tour, whatever, kept it in mind, and it was really after visiting all the other schools that I kind of realized, I'm just kind of comparing them all to Wake in my mind, and that I really just, as time went on, I kind of more and more really liked it. So I applied and got in early decision, in early November of my senior year, and kind of that was that. So, and that was the only school I applied to.
For me, it started because my mom went to Vanderbilt University, and in general, the criteria sort of matched up here with Vanderbilt. And I saw Vanderbilt, I really liked it. I thought it was a really great place, and I liked the culture of being in the South, and it was so much better than being in Chicago where it was freezing all the time, or most of the time. We have 3 months where it's not. And I was told to come here by my college counselor. She just found it and she thought, you know what, it's not a very well-known school, especially in my area, even though it's up and coming now, yes. And she said, why don't you go check it out? And I did, and it was one of those things where you go to a college campus and people tell you about it during the college search that, oh, you'll get that gut feeling. You'll know where you're going, you'll really like it, and you'll just feel it when you get to that college campus. And I felt that here. And it was the only school I really genuinely felt that, like, true excitement to be here and to do something. And luckily it worked out. It became my number one very quickly, and I have been so happy here.
Wake Forest was actually a kind of shot in the dark. I had originally planned to go to another university. It was at the top of my list, and in order to fill a list of colleges that I wanted to apply to, I found Wake Forest at the bottom of the list at a Common App website. I decided to pursue that, and when I was accepted, I looked into it better, and I realized at the time when I wanted to pursue a pre-medical track, Wake Forest was the best option.
In terms of jobs, I mean, I worry about what I want to actually do, whether I actually do want to go to graduate school, whether I want to pursue a professional degree like a law degree, or whether I want to go straight into into the business sector. So yeah, that's a big worry. I'm sure I'll encounter challenges. I don't know if I use the word problems. I mean, I'm sure I will encounter some problems, but I have to be a little bit optimistic. I think challenges are something that are surmountable. But yeah, I'm sure, going from a fellowship to either a PhD program or a job is it's going to be a big decision, and that doesn't come without obstacles.
No, I'm not worried about anything. I have a concrete plan that I think is going to come to fruition, but if it doesn't, I have several backup plans, and so that's left me to be very open and very excited about these next couple of months that I'm about to spend with my friends and the family I've made at Wake Forest.
Can you reflect a little bit on your time here at Wake?
Wake Forest has been a great time. I came in very young, very new to life, a small town kid. Never really seeing anything outside that small town except for a few trips I took with my father. Definitely opened my eyes to different cultures, different people, especially being an adult, making decisions for myself. Wake Forest has taught me a lot of great things. I joined the Wake Forest Rowing Club. I found out what was meant to join a team and really dedicate yourself and to really have an organization that's student led. Gave me a lot more responsibilities that anywhere else I don't think would be able to happen.
I'd say it's bittersweet. I'm on a certain level. I'm really ready to leave here. It's been a while. It's been great, but it's time to go. But at the same time, I'm kind of nervous too because it's just being here has been such a part of my identity, part of my life for what seems like so long, even though it's only 4 years. I can't really imagine not coming back here and having to actually be an adult in the real world. So that's a bit terrifying, obviously. But I imagine a lot of people in my grade are going through that. It's just a matter of tackling it head on, not letting the anxiety get to you, and just keep going, I guess.
Super excited. So pumped to graduate.
Stephen Colbert, he's a very funny actor, very accomplished man. You know, there's a few things, of course, I don't really agree with him based on where I'm from. I'm from a small town in the South. But other than that, you know, I enjoy watching his shows. I laugh at a few things he does, and since coming to Wake, I've come to appreciate a lot of his viewpoints, especially because Wake was kind of a culture clash. But still, Stephen Colbert, I'm really excited that he's going to be our speaker, and I think he can offer words of wisdom and advice to our graduating class. Well, not really. You know, I'm happy that I have a plan and that I've been surrounded by people who have plans and haven't, you know, necessarily wasted 4 years of college. You know, we've had fun. We've done our dues. We've done everything that we need to do to go from life and not lack anything from our Wake Forest experience.
I'm really excited about it, actually. I think it's the first time that Wake has had someone super relevant and in today's pop culture, that is, come and speak, and people are really flocking in who are not Wake students who are graduating. There are a lot of alumni who are coming, a lot of people who are coming to see their friends graduate because they're all excited for Stephen Colbert. So I think it's really cool, especially like a university of our caliber. It's time we had like someone who was, you know, not that the previous speakers haven't been important, but someone kind of big, like a big name, like the other universities have gotten. They have been great overall, and I know that everyone will say Wake Forest is a very stressful place, and I can definitely say that that has been the case for me sometimes. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but ultimately I could not think of a better place to have spent my last 4 years. I've changed so much just from a freshman to a senior, and not necessarily as who I am as a person and my essentials and my values and who I am, but I've just been able to thrive here and to become a lot more open to experiences and a lot more, I have an idea of what I want to do in my life, what my path is, what my beliefs are. I have more confidence in myself. I have this huge love affair with Wake Forest anyway. I'm a tour guide here, and I've just gotten to get so involved with just campus life, and I've met a lot of great people, and it's been everything I ever hoped for, which has been great. They really push you here to express yourself a lot, whether that's in class, whether that's in meetings that you go to with any adult here on campus, and communication with your friends, because it's a very social culture here on campus. I think that I can talk and express myself and be more professional and also more of an adult in my demeanor. I feel like that, you know, especially today, a lot of people who are younger can't communicate very well, and a lot of, you know, I have 3 younger sisters, and a lot of them sit there and they're just like, yeah, sure. But I think that Wake really has, and in terms of just like how I see the world and how I can kind of find a place for myself in it, it's really aided me in finding that little niche and finding out what I want to do, and allowed me to have leadership positions and volunteer and do different things that have allowed me to find that path.
In terms of job prospects or for new graduates, I mean, you know, I can't really speak to what other graduates are facing in terms of, you know, other schools, but I think all of my friends have been able to do something that they feel excited about, especially at Wake, and some of my other friends from high school. So in my experience, just anecdotally, I think, you know, it's been a decent market for grads that have quality skills and have taken an undergraduate experience to like hone those skills.
Really, I know that there has been some signs of pickup, and that the future looks a little brighter than it did in years past, especially in our recession a few years ago.
I know that it has been very difficult to find a job, because before I was accepted to the MA program, I did do the job search and I had interviews, but it's very competitive. And I know even just coming from a great school like Wake Forest and having the background that I do, I thought it would be easier just having those credentials, but it wasn't. It was just as difficult. Everyone coming out of college wants a job. Everyone is very well qualified. They have all this experience, and I have a lot of friends who are having trouble finding even internships. But the thing about the MA program, which is another reason why I'm excited, is because it has a 95% job rate afterwards. So yeah, and just plus with the networking opportunities and everything along those lines, I feel pretty confident I'll have a job opportunity, and I can use my old connections at old internships. And I know it will probably be difficult, and it's not like anything's just going to land in my lap automatically, like, oh, look, you have a job right after I graduate. But at the same time, I think it will be a lot easier having this experience under my belt and having a master's degree on top of that.
I'm no economics expert, obviously, but I've been reading recently that there has been job growth. I mean, there's always kind of ups and downs in a market, but the Nasdaq recently finished at its highest like level like ever, like in a long time. I don't know the specifics of the numbers, but I know there's significant growth, and there's been a lot of job growth as well, and that's obviously more in terms of middle class jobs and stuff like that. But I think the economy is definitely getting a lot stronger. In terms of the jobs that I would want to go for and get, I don't really think, from my limited experience, I don't really think it would make that much of a difference, because the kind of demand for the jobs that I want to do, like, which is essentially, I guess, entertainment, it's kind of immune to sort of economic concerns, and in a certain sense, you could even say it might be bolstered, because people kind of like to have entertainment or an escape in times of hardship. So, I mean, that's just completely based off of, conjecture. I don't honestly know. Obviously, I hope it doesn't affect my job search, but there's always roadblocks no matter what. So it's just a matter of staying committed to overcoming them, whatever they are. But I think overall it's a positive outlook for sure.